This is Kelso Sturgeon. Thank you very much for joining me for another class at my College of Advanced Sports Handicapping. I'm pleased to report that we started off the week in dynamite fashion in the NFL, getting the cash on Monday night with a 25-unit play on the Chicago Bears over the Dallas Cowboys, a blowout winner. Came right back on Tuesday, won my 50-unit NBA game of the week as the Indiana Pacers knocked off the Miami Heat in a real marquee game. And the winning continues tonight, Thursday. Releasing tonight a 50-unit play on the San Diego Chargers at the Denver Broncos game right now. Denver's a 10.5-point favorite. The total is 57. Releasing a 50-unit play on the side, a 10-unit play on the total, and intend to get all the cash again tonight. You can get these plays at 1-800-755-2255 or on this website. All major credit cards accepted. Once again, you can get these games right now on this website and toll free at 1-800-755-2255. As always, the price is right and all credit cards are accepted, as I said. Now, this is a giant weekend for me, and I'll be back here on Saturday morning with a complete report for Saturday's games and for Sunday's games. On Saturday, I'm releasing my first 100-unit college play of the season, billing it as my 100-unit college basketball revenge game of the year, and it certainly is. I've graded this game several times, come out with a blowout win over a team that's going to be a very, very modest favorite. You don't want to miss this game. This is a game that I intend to take down the cash for me and for you. Once again on Saturday, my 100-unit college basketball revenge game of the year, my first 100-unit play of the season. And while we're talking about college basketball, as you know, on my website and in the newsletter this week, Louisville is on top of my standings of the defending champions, and there's no reason for them not to be number one in my top 25. But I'd like you to look at my top 25. I don't want to go into it now. Look at it on this website currently or in the newsletter currently, and you're going to find that it differs dramatically from the more popular polls that are picked by the media and the coaches. I think if everybody was honest, and that includes me, we're kind of guessing right now as to who the top basketball teams in the country are. And that process may last for a while. We either have a lot of very, very good basketball teams or a lot of very mediocre teams. I haven't quite figured out which is which, and that's why I haven't posted my college power ratings yet. It's just one of those things that you've got to be right. If you put up a number and encourage people to use those numbers to handicap, you must be right. I'm just not ready to go yet. When I am, I'll let you know. Also, very important thing going on in college basketball right now. As you noted, this week's schedules have been very light. That's because teams are undergoing their semester finals, and because of that, they play a very limited schedule. This also means a couple of other things. Number one, there's going to be some players, maybe some key big-time players, who will fail the first semester's grades and will be out for the second semester, creating a dramatic change in the performance profile of these teams. There also is the extreme end of that. There's going to be teams that are going to bring on board players who are impact players who became eligible at the semester. I guess the bottom line in college basketball at this juncture of the season is make sure when you bet on a college basketball game or a team that you know what you're getting. Make sure that all the players are still there, or if new players have been added, be sure and factor that into your handicapping equation. This is big time change time in college basketball, and you absolutely must pay attention to that. Just a quick reminder, in the BCS championship game between Florida State and Auburn, Florida State was bet down from 9.5 to a -8, and then bet back up to a -9. And the guys doing all the wagering here on Auburn were wise guys. Now, once again, nothing is ever as it seems in the betting arena. What we have to determine is whether the wise guys took the 9.5 and intend to attempt to middle the game by maneuvering the number. Once again, I don't know which it is. We've got to wait and see. Now, you get a situation in the NBA, which I've also pointed out in my column and in the newsletter. There are 7 teams out there that are absolute gold mines for bettors. You've got 2 teams that are losing 70% of the time. I beg 5 teams I'm talking about. 2 teams that are losing 70% of the time against the number. 3 teams that are winning more than 70% of the time against the number. Sometimes we make handicapping too difficult. These numbers and these winning percentages could be the foundation for a very successful month in handicapping the NBA. Of course, these things will eventually change, but right now they play in our favor. Now, in the NFL this week, there's only 3 things that we know. We know that the Seattle Seahawks are in the NBA playoffs. We know that the Denver Broncos are in the NBA playoffs, and we also know that the Indianapolis Colts have qualified for the playoffs by virtue of they've already won their division. Outside of that, it's all up in the air, and teams come into this weekend with really a demand on them to win. But I think that I've got written down 4 key issues here that bettors need to look for in football and basketball this weekend. Okay, are the desperate teams in the NFL playoff picture? Are they up to the task? And by the way, San Diego is a desperate team tonight, but Denver is also trying to wrap up a home field advantage in the playoffs if possible. Also, I'm wondering if the Houston Texans, 2-11 this season, will take a dive and lose their last 3 games to ensure they get the number 1 draft pick, which would probably be a quarterback, and there are 4 or 5 really outstanding ones out there. This is a team that has far more to gain by losing than it does by winning, and I'll be honest with you, to bet on them would make me very nervous. Also, back to the NBA, you're going to make a fortune if you just wake up and pay attention to these won-loss figures and percentages. And last but not least, be very careful in betting the college teams, especially if you factor in national rankings and all such as that. Nobody knows which team is number 1 or which team is number 10 even. I mean, it's all up in the air. I think we've got a lot of good basketball teams out there, but you have to pay attention and you've got to analyze on your own. Do not let the rankings unduly influence you. Take, for instance, Kansas, which is in everybody's rankings, including mine, are 6-3. What does that mean? Well, they can't play against the zone and everybody knows it. They're young, they'll get better. And last but not least, just remember that every single football and basketball game that I release is released on this website and toll free at 1-800-755-2255. I accept all major credit cards. The price is always right. I thank you very much for watching, and I'll be right back here Saturday morning with my next report.